Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.
All right, welcome to episode lucky number 7 of 15 Minutes of Genius. And we are super lucky today to have this guy as a guest on our show. Good friend of mine, known him a few years, amazing guy. So we're going to get right into that. But before we do, want to make a plug for Mark N. Mark Nicholas, I should say. Mark N at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. And he is the guy managing this entire setup. I think he actually built this wooden wall behind me, like literally nail by nail. I think I saw him make it. So this is Manhattan Beach Studios. That's where we're filming from, in Manhattan Beach. All right. So, and if I didn't mention it, Alex Bayer. I'm the founder and CEO of Genius Juice. All right. So I'm going to get right into it and stop wasting time talking about myself because I want to talk about this guy way more than I want to talk about anyone else right now. Jordan Shulman. He is currently the Vice President of Sales at Better Booch, leading their national expansion and quickly becoming a top-selling kombucha brand, and I believe it. This guy has over 19 years of experience in CPG and beverages. That's longer than some millennials have been alive. Head of sales, he was a head of sales at Verve Coffee Roasters. That was his other stint. He launched Verve's first RTD line nationally in grocery and food service, while more than doubling its coffee sales in the grocery channel. But as I mentioned, he is now with Better Booch. Another previous experience he was the VP of Sales and National Accounts at Life Aid Beverage Company, one of the first executive sales teams members to help develop and lead the transition from a niche fitness brand to a large national retail player. If that's not enough, he also was with Vita Coco Coconut Water. Throughout their explosive growth as a category leader, and they're number one today in the country. He ultimately became the director of national accounts for Vita Coco. Several notable roles within Foster Groups, now Treasury Wine Estates, Scottish and Newcastle sold to Heineken, and Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits. This guy has an amazing experience, amazing roster, amazing resume. Jordan, how's it going, my friend?
Good, Alex. Great to see you. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. Just crazy times, historic times, but you know what? Grateful for what we have, and our brand's doing well, and it looks like Better Booch is also just crushing it right now in retail.
Yeah, things are going well. Obviously, it's definitely a crazy world out there, but I'm just thankful every day that I'm with a wonderful company that's making a product that makes a difference out there in people's lives. And similar to yourselves, it's trying to just have some fun while we're doing it.
Exactly. And you guys are having, when you're winning, it's easier to have fun. And
It's true.
you guys are winning. So I just first want to get into, I talked about it here in this intro here. Tell me about how you got into CPG. Really, like, what was your inspiration to get into this space? And then also, how did you find Better Booch and how did you get a passion for kombucha? So let's start with your personal story, then how you got into
Yeah,
ultimately into kombucha.
definitely. So, out of college, my first job was with Southern Wine and Spirits. And I from early on, I just knew this was like the place for me in beverage and more specifically, consumer packaged goods. I love the idea that you could have a product and something that people could actually see, feel, and taste, right? And I think that's one of the things that makes it such a great industry to be in. We're not selling toilet paper or copy machines or anything like that. It's really something that's exciting. It's always changing, always evolving. And when it comes down to it, it's just a lot of fun. I love it. I like to consider myself a beverage nerd, always trying to read up and try new brands and what have you. Better Booch, it really happened organically. We met several years ago at Expo West and just kind of got to talking and would always run into each other. I'd bump into Trey and Ashley at different industry parties and events and what have you. And kind of one thing led to another. I was helping them try to find some sales reps in a certain region, and we just kind of got started talking more, and it seemed like it made a lot of sense for us to come together and partner and come over and start selling some kombucha. I never really thought I would be working for a kombucha company, to be honest. But man, I love it. I love the scientific and the artistic and creative approach to it. It's a raw and live product that we're brewing. We have a full team behind the scenes that are doing a phenomenal job making the best tasting kombucha out there. And it's really just fun to be a part of that. We're not just, co-packing, putting certain things in a beverage and calling it a day. We're actually making something that's raw and alive. And so that really has brought so much interest into the job for me, especially coming, originally from the, wine and spirits and craft beer industry as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like when I hear your story, right, which is so powerful, and you have just so much experience in the beverage space. You started in Southern Wine and Spirits, which is obviously alcohol, which is fermented, right? And now you're in
Yeah,
kombucha, which is like fermented probiotic tea. So it's almost like
correct.
you're coming back home to what you started with in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And yeah, it is kind of full circle, but it's nice to I love the non-alc side of things. I'm also a big fan of hard kombuchas. Those are really starting to gain some traction and steam out there.
You think Better
But it's
Booch
fun to
will
sell something.
you think Better Booch will come out, sorry to interrupt. Do you think they'll come out with a hard kombucha at some point?
uh you know you never know. Right now we're really focused on building our NA portfolio and rolling out nationally here as we speak. But yeah, it's definitely something that I know that we have the capabilities to do, and something that we would want to do similar to our NA line is be able to come out with the best tasting hard kombucha out there. So time will tell, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens someday here soon.
Yeah, translation, it's coming out next week, right? Keeping it under wraps. I like it. No. So
Yeah,
awesome, awesome. And it's just, Trey and Ashley, you mentioned them earlier. They're the founders of Better
yeah,
Booch, for those that don't know. But I met them 5 years ago. We actually sold one of our fillers, or one of our labeling machines to them. When we used to make our own product, we labeled Genius Juice. And then I remember delivering it to their facility when they were labeling all their glass bottles, and I saw their operation. It's grown considerably since then. Tell me about, I think the most impressive thing is you guys came out in cans. You're one of the first.
yeah.
And you're also just aggressively nipping at the heels of all these other kombucha brands and really taking more space, getting more points of distribution. Tell me about where Better Booch is today and where do you want to take Better Booch through 2021?
Yeah, great question. So to touch on quickly what you brought up, so we've made a decision to fully transition away from the glass bottles and just strictly do cans.
Really?
Cans are
Wow.
really the wave of the future for kombucha. Similar to the craft beer movement that you've seen throughout the years, it's really more accessible, and people are now aware that cans are a better way to bottle, or I should say, can their product. It's 70% more chances to be recyclable than glass. It actually keeps the kombucha raw and alive. All the probiotics and everything does not get light hit to it, so it stays, nice and raw and alive. And it's really the best way to can or put together the kombucha.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like more and more brands after Better Booch came out with cans. I started seeing other competitors in the space that are just basically doing the same thing. But sustainability is really key, right? And the fact that it's
Yes,
more recyclable, the fact that honestly it keeps the product a lot colder. It's more enjoyable from a can as well. And you know what? At the end of
yeah.
the day, I'm sure you're not missing the higher freight charges by shipping glass.
Yeah,
So that's
it's
also
it's
another big
definitely
bonus,
yeah, it's a competitive advantage for us. So we were able to lower our MSRP every day
right?
down to a more competitive 2.99 price when we transitioned fully to those cans. So
Hmm.
yeah, we definitely think that's a benefit as well. Lower costs in shipping. You don't have any breakage. And with that, so yeah, we've been expanding out here nationally. We've gone into two more additional regions of Whole Foods. So we're the number 3 selling kombucha in the SoPac region of Whole Foods. We've now launched in NorCal in the Southwest division as well, and many other retailers, Central Market, Nugget, and then we've also started out in the East Coast in New York, Chicago, Boston, partnering with Iris Nova, the parent company of Dirty Lemon. So they've been a great partner as well to really start kind of seeding those markets out there as we continue to try to knock down doors further.
I love it. I love it. How many SKUs do you have now for the can line?
Wow. So we have technically, I would say 11. Um, but primarily you'll see up to about 8 in most retailers. And then we're really excited about we're launching our first ever seasonal SKU here in November.
Mm,
And that's going to be a seasonal artist series. First one is going to be a ginger spice. And what we're doing is we're partnering with local up and coming artists to actually design the can. And then that's going to be here launching in November. And then we'll roll around with the summer spring SKU with the same UPC in March timeframe.
I love it. So you don't lose that space on the shelf. And I think uh,
Exactly.
shelf space presence is super key. I remember when I first discovered Better Booch in a small pastry shop in Manhattan Beach in 2013, I think, or 2014. It was at 4 SKUs, and the company just props to Trey and Ashley, props to you and everyone on the team for really building Better Booch to what it is today. How do you how do you feel? Because I also experience the same thing. Many entrepreneurs do. We're in a space where there's juggernauts, right? I'm in the
Yeah.
space where we have Vita Coco. I guess Zico, I don't have to worry about anymore, but Vita Coco, yeah, that's one good thing that happened this week for me. But it's still sad
Yeah,
that
I bet
Zico closed down.
it
But
is.
it gives us more space, which is the benefit out of it. Despite it's bittersweet because I'm friends with Mark
Yeah.
Rampola and I respect him, but I guess it is what it is. But
Yeah.
in the space of kombucha, which is highly saturated, you already mentioned you have some innovative new SKUs coming out. You're in cans, you're differentiating. How are you going to continue to set yourself apart from other kombuchas that are on the shelf that have massive space and grow this to a fully national brand, which I know is exactly the goal. You want to be in every Whole Foods, every Sprouts, like you want to really take it all the
Yeah.
way. How do you plan to further differentiate yourself to get there and get there quickly?
Yeah, I think we got to continue doing what we're doing. So, the kombucha category has really been ripe for what I like to say like a shakeup. You have a lot of the kind of same things going on there. Companies that are making kombucha with this base tea, a lot of the SKUs taste the same. They're adding juices, sugars, driving up that sugar count. What we're doing is we're really focusing on these premium loose leaf tea blends, right? And we blend those with botanicals, herbs, and adaptogens. So you have not only the probiotics and the immunity boosting benefits from that, but you also have just some more functionality going on with these different things that we're adding. And we really brew everything each flavor is in its own tank, so it's all a single batch approach. So it's really a craft approach. We have a phenomenal brewing team that focuses on that. So when you taste Better Booch, you get a really approachable taste profile. It's very well balanced. We think it's the best tasting kombucha on the market. It's crushable, as we like to say. And then when you combine that with the branding on our can, as you said, when you line those cans up, they really pop off the shelf. Not only, they don't look medicinal, they look kind of cool and hip. They got nice colors going, and it really stands out. So once people pull that off the shelf, it looks different. It's in the can, and they try it. They're pretty much hooked. I like to say we're the kombucha for people that don't necessarily like kombucha. So it goes
I
well
love
in
it.
that sense since it is so approachable. But then
Right.
also the kombucha purists, they love that we have these different flavor profiles and premium loose leaf tea blends. So each SKU is going to have a different tea base, right? And then we're not adding any juices to it, just things that are going to help accentuate these premium teas that we utilize. Kombucha is originally a fermented tea, and that's really what we try to focus on and elevate the taste profiles from.
I love that. If I were a buyer of, let's say, National Kroger or Safeway, I'd be like, bring it all in right now. Like, here's the contract right here. So I just,
Hey, I wish it was that easy.
yeah. You never know. Maybe I could become a buyer someday, and I'll just bring everything in. So, but yeah, I just it's really, I think the story is amazing. That's something that that's really key that you said, where kombucha is tea based. That's where it started, and you guys
Yeah,
embrace the history and like just the just the feel of what kombucha really was meant to be from the very beginning, which is tea leaves that are brewed. And that's something I really
definitely.
never thought about. And also the sugar content, like you said, is lower. Taste profiles on point. I just got to say, it's all about the Ola Horchata. That's probably my favorite one on the shelf right now. And for being tea leaves, super, super strong taste. So I just, all
Yeah,
the props to you and your team. And I definitely know this is going to be a national brand in no time. We're gonna see it on shelves across the country. And we already are right now. So last
definitely
question I
will.
have, because we're running out of time. What is your advice to, I mean, you already kind of touched on this, but being in a competitive space, all that stuff, but in general, for any entrepreneurs that are watching that are maybe diving in, literally, beverage joke, but a terrible joke, diving into the beverage space, and they are trying to create a brand or product within an existing segment, and they want to be unique, they want to be different. What would you say within like a minute or less, real rapid fire? How do you set yourself up for true success to survive in this climate when there's so much saturation and so many competitors in the space?
Yeah, I think you can't be afraid to be different, right? And to once you really focus on what differentiates you and what makes you, better, as we like to say, really focus on that, key in on that, and go all in and own that. Similar to what we've done with the cans, I mean, that's such a great competitive advantage for us compared to a lot of our other brands that are out there. So really just, keying in on that, focusing on your strengths and what makes you different, and then just don't stop fighting. That's one of the things that I always do, is just continually follow up and do whatever's needed to make it happen.
Exactly. And I've seen momentous growth since you've joined. I mean, Trey and Ashley, they brought it really far, but I think with you on board, Jordan, you're just plethora. I don't like, I haven't used that word in a long time. Plethora of experience. You can really take this brand to a whole new level. Like, I'm really excited to see what Better Booch will do in 2021. So awesome stuff, man. So,
Same with
well,
me.
yeah, so thank you so much, Jordan, for being on the show. Like, you're I got proud to say, the first kombucha brand on our show. So that's going to go down in
Yes.
the history books. Yeah, like I got it. Yes.
All right.
So thank you again for joining us, man. Always good to see you, and appreciate everything that you do to really build the Better Booch brand. And man, good luck and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you for everything you do. I'll never forget when I was over at Verve Coffee, and you reached out, I think, on LinkedIn, and we connected on a phone call. We had never met, and we just talked for, I don't know, probably 45 minutes, and just talking about the industry. And I was fairly new to the refrigerated cold beverage game, and you had so much insight and help right off the bat, and it just really has blossomed from there. And I love seeing you, in person, and now on LinkedIn and stuff. So it's great. So keep it up. Thank you so much. And you guys are killing it as well out there. So much more success ahead, I know, for Genius as well.
Definitely, definitely. All right, so that, my friends, is the kombucha genius. That's his term now. I'm going to call him that. The kombucha genius, Jordan Shulman, the VP of Sales for Better Booch. So that is episode 7 of 15 Minutes of Genius in the books. Again, got to give major props and credit to my man, Mark Nicholas, Mark N. at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. He's the guy, he's the man. This is beautiful. I have nothing to do with it. It's all him. I'm just here. I'm a talking head. That's all I am. All right, so episode 7 in the books with a bow on top. Thank you again. We got some great episodes coming up. And one more thing, and I always end with this: stay genius, my friends. Take care.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.